Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of The Lounge. I'm your host, Mr. J. And we back here, man. As always, I'm joined by my main man, Mr. Fed, down at the bottom.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What it do?
And then to my side, we got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Sherm Gilgis Alexander today.
Yeah.
How we feeling, Sherm?
Howdy, howdy. How we doing? How we feeling? What's up,
I'm,
y'all?
I'm good. I'm good. We hopping right into it with a ball knowledge test. And this time, I got something special for you all. I am thinking of an NBA player. Now, you may only ask yes or no questions, and you have to figure out who this NBA player is. All right?
Bet.
I bet.
Y'all guys ready, man? Y'all gonna work as a team, or y'all want to do the first one to get it?
First
Let's
one, bruh.
Let's go.
Well, y'all go back and forth, ask the questions. I don't care who start. Let's do it.
All right. East or West?
It's a yes or no question.
Hey,
bro.
yes or no, bruh?
Is he in the East?
No.
All right, so he's in the West. All right. Is he currently on a playoff team?
No, he is not.
Does he play for the Rockies?
No.
Is he a current player? Like, is he retired already?
Yes, he is a current player.
And we're talking about NBA, right?
Yes, NBA player.
Okay. Current NBA
Did this player go to college?
Yes.
Was this player on a play-in team?
No.
Okay. All right.
Did he play for a franchise known for losing?
Not for his entire career, no.
Is the player Scoot Henderson?
No, it is not.
Okay. This is a tough one. All right, let's see what we got here.
Is he a forward?
No, he's not.
That's a good question. So it's a guard. A guard or a center, right? Let me just ask: is he a center?
No.
Okay, so it's definitely a guard. Okay,
I feel like y'all not asking. Y'all, to me, y'all not asking. Is he an award winner? Is it like y'all not asking?
No, I'm getting to that. I had to
All
narrow
right,
it down. Has he won an MVP?
Yes, he has.
MVP guard on what?
Does he have a beard?
Oh, I know who it is. Is it Derrick Rose?
Yes, it is Derrick Rose.
My.
He is one of 47 and a half players who play for the Grizzlies this season.
47 and a half.
That's crazy.
Yeah, real quick though, if you had to guess, how many players would you have guessed played for the Grizzlies this season?
It's like 30 something.
35 players.
I thought it was like 36.
It might have been. But also, if you all had enough time, I did have an NFL one. I don't know if y'all want to do that one too.
Oh, let's go.
All right, bet. So, you all may begin.
Is he in the NFC?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
Is it current or former
That's not
player?
yes or no.
Is it current player?
Yes.
Current player who was in the NFC. Now he's on AFC.
Was his team in the playoff this year?
No.
Did he change teams in free agency?
No.
Is his team in the NFC West?
No.
Now he's an AFC player, right?
No.
Oh, he is an NFC player. Bro, I'm tripping.
He asked if he was in the NFC. I ain't gonna lie, he did.
I thought you said no. I thought you said no.
Let me see.
NFC North.
No.
NFC South. Let's go.
No.
So it's an NFC East player.
Yes.
I know.
Has his player won the MVP?
Yes, he has.
Oh, I'm tripping. Never mind. NFC East player who won MVP.
Yes, he has won an MVP.
NFC. So we got Washington. We got New York. We got
Wait,
Dallas.
did we say position yet? Is he a quarterback?
No, he's not a quarterback.
Non-QB who won MVP. That's not a lot. NFC East. Cowboys. I can't think of nobody on their roster. We already know about them. Philly. Bro, you're tripping. There's no player who won MVP.
I said, his most recent team was in the NFC East. I think he's still active, but I don't think he's retired. He's not retired. He's still active.
Oh, so yeah, old boy, he got some old knees. Okay.
Dude, tripping. He throws these trick questions
Yeah,
at
It's
us.
not a trick question.
You see what I'm talking about? Dog. Does he play? Well, he plays offense, right?
Yes.
I'm assuming. Yeah. All right.
Was he? No, never mind. So that mean he had it.
See a running back.
If you want a QB,
Yes.
yeah, had to be a running back overseas. So running back.
No, he's a running back.
Yes.
A running back for NFC East team.
Has this player won the ring?
No.
Okay.
I know it, Adrian Peterson. Definitely.
Yes, it is Adrian Peterson. Yes.
Bro, what are you talking? Adrian
You know
Peterson
that-
retired like 40 years ago, bro.
No, he's still active. He's still active.
You're tripping, bro. When's the last time AP took a snap, bro?
22. He's still active.
Come
He just didn't
on
play
now.
last
See, that's what I'm talking about. These trick
So, yeah,
questions.
he just technically not retired, but
He's not
he
retired.
Uber. He gonna throw in the NFC East.
you see that? You see how he
I
throws
don't-
these
as soon
trick
as we
questions
said
at us, bro?
NFC East to MVP. I don't know why nobody thought to go, hey, Adrian Peterson.
Because he hasn't played a game in 3 years, bro. That's why.
No, he should. He was last active in 21, I believe.
Come on now.
But all right, man. Now, without further ado, we are gonna pass it over to Mr.
That's like talking
Sharp.
about Scottie Pippen on the Blazers. Like, what we talking about?
Here you go.
I'm saying, bro.
We are gonna pass it over to Mr. Sherm because we have some NFL stuff going on. The draft was recently. The draft was Thursday, and we saw a lot go on during the draft. So before we get too deep into it, crazy draft, man. I think we set a record for the most offensive players drafted consecutively.
Yeah.
And man, how did y'all feel about the draft as a whole?
Had a couple curveballs.
I think there's a couple decisions that just threw the rest of the evening off, especially in the first round. Like you mentioned, we had so many offensive players going in a row, and I think it was just a landslide at a certain point. All of a sudden, teams were like, oh, snap, the guy I thought was going to be in the second round just went top 10. So they kind of panicked. We saw a couple boards shuffle around. So some players fell and slipped, but overall, I do think even with all the slipping and the weird picks, I do feel like a lot of players ended up in a good situation for them, like a good team, a good fit, especially when we talk about the first, second round. I do think there are a lot of good players that are found on day 3 that ended up falling. So a lot of different things that we can talk about for sure.
Definitely.
And I felt like the first couple picks were
It was chalk.
it's kind of the first couple. It's kind of how I thought it was gonna go.
Yeah.
But then after a certain while, it just like Sherm said, that one pick just kind of threw everything off. And then
I mean, let's talk about it, bro. Why are we beating around the bush? This
I mean,
man
more than one pick though.
Falcons shirt on. That's exactly the pick we talking about, bro. The
Yeah.
Falcons. What was it? Number 8?
Number 8.
Michael Penix Jr. Come on,
You
man.
know, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it's a matter of Michael Penix Jr.'s talent. I think it's can you keep him healthy. I think guys coming off a shoulder injury and 2 ACL tears or something like that.
Yep.
So I think that's the thing. And people were comparing it to what the Packers did, but I'm like, the Packers took a 20-year-old Jordan Love at the end of the first round to sit behind the Hall of Famer and Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly.
It's
Can
two
give up Patrick
completely
Mahomes
two-
too now.
Exactly, and I don't think that Michael Penix per se was the wrong choice for you all to put towards the future. No one's saying that. I just personally, I don't think he would have went first round.
Well, I think, and we saw like that QB flurry that happened, right? Bo Nix ended up being a first round pick. So I do think there were a lot of teams who had Michael Penix high on their board. We see the Raiders potentially might have wanted to trade up and grab a quarterback. So I do think a lot of teams were higher on Michael Penix than we might have thought. And maybe that's why the Falcons felt like they had to take him at 8. Like you said, it's not an issue of the player himself, right? He's a good player, good quarterback. They want to let him sit and learn for a year. That's fine. My only issue is at pick number 8, with all the just defensive playmakers that were on the board, at pick number 8, they went and got somebody at quarterback. And like you mentioned with the Jordan Love situation, right? Jordan Love was in the first round. It's not the 8th overall pick. I just didn't understand it because there's so many holes on their defensive side of their roster that they could have filled with that pick. And maybe, if they were that high on Michael Penix, trade up, or kind of trade back, accumulate some more assets and pick them up later. But at pick 8, I just think it's such a valuable asset that they just trade away for a quarterback who, by the way, they just paid Kirk Cousins $100 million in the offseason. I just didn't understand it at all.
And I think what threw it so much for so many other people as well, Roma Duze was still on the board if you wanted to just go offense. If you want to just throw balls to the wall and go offense. Because, let's be real. We know within the next 2 to 3 years they were going to have to take a quarterback. Now, if the Penix and Cousins thing don't work, still in another 2 to 3 years, you're drafting another quarterback. But if you draft somebody like Roma Duze, if you just wanted to go offense, you got another receiver, another big target for Kirk. You solidify your offense a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Because last year, your defense wasn't horrible. You might have had some issues in the front 7 or whatever, but you had a great secondary that was anchored by AJ Terrell and not Justin Simmons. His name just slipped my mind that fast. Jesse Bates, thank you. Yeah. So you got good guys on the back end. Of course your front end could have used a little bit of help, but your offense was the majority of your problem. Even more specifically, the play calling was your problem. So if you wanted to get more weapons or whatever, it wouldn't have been a bad thing to just go more weapons wise.
I think I would have liked the pick a lot more if it wasn't for the Kirk Cousins of it all, right? Yeah. I mean, they just went out and spent all that money on Kirk Cousins. We saw that funny little video come out with the owner talking to the GM, right?
Yeah,
the owner, he's like, I just spent all this guaranteed money and y'all just went and took a rookie quarterback. Look, the most valuable things in the NFL is a rookie quarterback's contract because they're not getting paid that much money. So now you're looking at the Falcons. They don't really get to reap the benefits of that rookie quarterback.
Yeah, having a rookie contract.
Because now they're paying this quarterback premium money with the rookie quarterback on the roster. I just never really get it because for me, there's no pathway for him to come in and be the starter within the next 2 years. So now you're wasting a lot of his contract. With Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers, I know it's a big comparison. People have to remember, at the time, a lot of people thought Aaron Rodgers was going to leave Green Bay in about a year.
He
goes out, he wins 2 MVPs.
We thought he was
starting a couple.
It was a limbo every year.
But with Kirk Cousins, they just brought him in. Maybe they can talk about his injury history. Maybe they're not all the way confident, but I just understand it. But I think the more I got away from the actual pick, I understood their reason behind it. I understand the process. I just don't think I necessarily agreed with it.
And I think what threw it so far off for me, apparently Kirk didn't know.
Nobody knew in his camp.
Yeah, so I think that, first of all, they need Hard Knocks this year. They need Hard Knocks this year.
I'm not opposed. I am not opposed.
I think they need Hard.
I think they already gave it to somebody, didn't they?
I don't know. I don't think they gave it out yet. They probably know who has it, but we just don't.
Yeah, but it hasn't been announced yet.
They need Hard Knocks, or to me, the Saints need Hard Knocks this upcoming year.
Ain't no telling what the Saints got going on right now.
I love that they got Spencer Rattler so late. And it's crazy. We were talking about this the other day. Spencer Rattler's problem was never talent. Spencer Rattler's just a butthole.
Yeah.
His problem was never talent. He was never just this talentless quarterback.
I ain't gonna lie, his decision making sometimes questionable, but he got the talent. You got the talent. Yeah. But I really, as far as the pick though, I'm not mad that they picked him. It just how it went down. Like, I feel like 8th overall, it's so much talent left on the board. You can really pick. You know what I'm saying? You got all type of options. And if you want to trade, I feel like if you really wanted him that bad, why not trade back? Like, why not trade back up into the first round?
And the other thing too, if they wanted a backup quarterback to sit for another year, JJ McCarthy was right there on the board.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Younger,
everybody follows JJ McCarthy and say.
But then again, then again, they just really fell in love with Michael Penix. And look, if you love the guy, if you think that's your pick, and like I said, other teams had him high on their board. They were kind of circling a trade up. So I mean, I guess they just felt like they had to go get him, otherwise he'd be gone. But I like what they said in their press conference. You know, they're not expecting to be in the top 10 again for a couple years. So you have an opportunity to add a top 10 quarterback, which we know is the most important position in football. Hey, man, go get that top 10 quarterback. You'll figure it out later. I mean, we see other teams draft busts all the time at quarterback and bounce back. Look at the Niners betting everything on Trey Lance, right? And they were in the Super Bowl like a year later. So, I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, I understood the process behind it as we got further away from the pick. But I just don't think the Falcons, you know, I just don't think it was a great pick for them overall.
And looking back on it, I don't even if they tried to pick him in the second round, I don't know if he'd been available second round.
Right.
Even besides Michael Penix, like QB was flying. Like I think teams kind of panicked. They were like, like hey, we gotta get our dude. Like we can't waste no time.
Yeah. Now, outside of that, who impressed you all probably the most as far as your draft picks this year?
Minnesota.
Yeah, he said Minnesota. I want to talk about the entire NFC North as a whole.
Yeah,
the entire division, the NFC North. Bears obviously getting the first pick, Caleb and Odunze. But then they also got the Vikings, who got, you know, who I think was one of the better edge rushers on the board. He falls all the way to 17. They trade up for him. Then you also got the Packers. They made some additions, you know, bolster up their defense a little bit, as well as their offensive line. And then the Detroit Lions, man, they ended up going, Terrion Arnold out of Alabama. I have him as the best cornerback in the draft. And cornerback is the position the Lions needed the most.
Then they got a couple, didn't it? Yeah, they got a couple of corners. Yeah.
They got two of the best. I think Detroit and the Ravens, they ended up having cornerbacks just fall right into their laps. And I think that the entire division as a whole just upgraded tremendously, you know, in the draft. So shout out to the NFC North for sure.
I think it was a lot of team defense they got some studs.
Yeah, I was just going to say, one of my biggest winners was the Eagles.
Yeah.
Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. Quinyon Mitchell was viewed as the number one overall corner, I believe. And Cooper DeJean, I was really high on him because he reminds me of like a 6'1" Kyle Hamilton, where they just played him so many different positions. But I'm interested to see how that goes, especially in the Eagles system, in the Eagles scheme. The Eagles defense has always been pretty solid. This last year, they kind of ran into some hiccups and some injuries. But for them to be able to address that defensive position very soon and very swiftly is good. But can we also talk about, in my opinion...
Hold on. I want to talk about the Eagles, bro. Because I had them like as a major winner. They made, 7-8 trades on draft night, bro?
Yeah, they made a lot of
Look at the haul that they bring in. I mean, Cooper DeJean, like you mentioned, he's just a freak athlete. I was surprised, actually, that he fell out of the first round. I think that was part of the offensive.
Yeah, the offense. I'm telling you, all them offensive players do everything.
Plus, you know, he was coming off an injury, you know, in college. I think he broke his foot or something like that. So maybe there's some medical red flags there. But I think for the Eagles, adding Quinyon Mitchell, who is probably the second best cornerback in the draft class, and then you add that safety, you know, Cooper DeJean, he might transition to safety. And then you also look at the 5th round, picking up Jeremiah Trotter Jr., a linebacker. Yeah. Again, he's a prospect I had like going first, second round, and he falls all the way to the 5th round. Linebacker is another area of need for them, right? If you look at the NFC, they're going to have to play the 49ers at some point, right? You're going to need those linebackers.
Don't need them big bodies.
No. I think linebacker and their secondary was kind of a weak spot for the Eagles. So the fact that they were able to kind of bolster them in, look, we'll see how those players, you know, how those players transition to the league, right? Just because you like a guy in college doesn't mean he'll always translate to the NFL. But I think based off paper, they tremendously upgraded their defense. They're bringing in a new defensive coordinator this year, Vic Fangio. So we'll see how them boys up in the link, how they perform this year.
And we got two more teams, I think, that drafted great. Houston, and I love Houston.
Oh, yeah, Houston.
Houston's goal was defense. They took that defense, win championships, and they ran with it. So I definitely feel like Houston was a huge winner. And I also feel like the Kansas City Chiefs were another winner.
Well, I want to talk about that. I was waiting on
If they
that.
turn Xavier Worthy into cheaper Tyreek Hill again, bro, oh my goodness. Don't know how they ended up there.
Yeah, we'll see for sure. I wasn't the biggest fan of Xavier Worthy, right? I mean, we see all the time guys who are super fast at the combine. But we'll see how that translates, right? You know, it doesn't always come over. But the fact that he's able to get in the Chiefs system, right? We'll see. I mean, the Chiefs have tried, you know, the past couple years to develop these wide receivers, right? We're looking at Sky Moore. Okay, they took a flyer on Kadarius Toney. Rashee Rice, you know, he was a good player, but now he's in kind of some off-field issues. So we'll see.
John Ross at one point.
Yeah, we'll see how the Chiefs, you know, I mean, even years ago, Sammy Watkins, right?
Yeah.
They've really struggled to develop receivers other than Tyreek Hill. So we'll see. Maybe Xavier Worthy can be that guy. We know Mahomes absolutely loved him, you know, in the process. And I think that's really what the pick was about. If we're being honest, Mahomes said, that's my guy. Go get him.
He seen speed and wanted it. I already know.
Exactly.
You know, I have to give major kudos to a team like the Raiders, who I think the Raiders suffered the most because they were so bad last year. They just weren't bad enough to get any higher to go and get a QB of their guy. Yeah. So I like what they did.
Got to be worse than that.
We always talk about teams taking best available. At 13, getting Brock Bowers at 13.
I guess he was
to go top.
For sure. I mean, he's a great player out of Georgia, right? Great tight end, super physical. You know, is a great weapon. I just would have rather seen them upgrade the defense, if we're being honest. But hey, Brock Bowers, he's going to slide in there next to Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers. Ooh, we'll see what happens, right? Maybe next year they circle back, get their franchise quarterback. But
I think they were looking for one this year. I think we just took their man. Oops, my fault.
And also, one last team that I kind of want to bring up. I also like what the Saints did. You know, we talked about the Saints should be one of them on there. They brought in Talisa Funga, great offensive tackle out of Oregon State.
Solid.
Strong as an ox. And they were able to snag Kool-Aid at pick 41.
Can't go wrong Kool-Aid.
So, you know, I'm feeling pretty good about how they picked. And, you know, they got Spencer Rattler, like I said, talent never the issue. He got other stuff going on. So, you know, I like the draft board that they had. You kind of see what direction they were going in.
Can we talk about how quick the Bears put in that number 9 pick? They was not waiting. They seen Roma Dunze on the. They said, let's go. Anyway,
do you think that may have been an issue? Do you think they should have went offensive tackle there?
I'm not mad at that because that's, in my opinion, I feel like, you know, you never know. It's still a draft. You never know. But I feel like he's going to turn out to be, he one of the more polished receivers in the draft. So I feel like he's going to end up turning out, you know, I feel like they made a solid pick there. And I say it's better to get them skill positions, man. I'm telling you, if they try to beat something, it's harder to get them after the fact. They gonna charge an arm and a leg if you want to trade for them.
I've said it time and time again. I think Roma Dunze is the best wide receiver in this draft class. No disrespect to the other guys, but I thought he was the best wide receiver, and they went and got him. And I compare it a lot to what the Bengals did, you know, a couple years ago. They had an opportunity to pass up Penei Sewell. They went and got Jamar Chase. What happened? They made the
instant magic.
Offensive lineman is a position you can.
That's another team I want to talk about. The Bengals.
You can pay for that position, right, in free agency. But when it comes to those wide receivers, I'd rather get a star wide receiver on a rookie contract, bring him in, draft him, develop him, extend him, you know, versus having to go trade for that in free agency. Offensive linemen, they're always available. You can always get serviceable ones in free agency. But that star wide receiver is a lot harder to find. So when you can draft one, go ahead and draft one for sure.
Now, do you all think that it was smart for the Giants to draft receiver at 6?
I mean, yes, I do actually. I'm just glad they didn't. I think they really started doing. I think they pulled their own smoke screen, and they was trying to make everybody think they was going to get a QB, and went ahead and got a receiver. So I really ain't mad at it. Either that or like an O-lineman or something, you know.
I think when it comes to the Giants, they were only interested in 3 quarterbacks. And with the 5th pick, once those 3 quarterbacks were gone,
they was gone.
Let's just get the best player available. And that was Malik Neighbors, right? Yeah. I don't think any of the other quarterbacks available, you know, whether it's Penix, JJ McCarthy, whatever, I don't see them being better than Daniel Jones, or whatever Daniel Jones has been giving them so far. I mean, Daniel Jones is okay. He's serviceable. He took them
That
to
team has a lot of holes though, so it's hard to see. Kind of like the Patriots and Mac Jones.
Right. I mean, Daniel Jones, he's okay. He's just a stopgap quarterback. So I think they're perfectly fine taking that wide receiver and just changing everything over to next year. Who's in the next year's draft class? Who can we potentially target next year?
Yeah,
and I love what if that helped Eli? I'm not Eli. I mean Daniel turn into something else. Who knows? We got to see.
And I love that Seattle went out and broke the offense and went ahead and got Byron Murphy. I'm not upset that he was the first defensive player taken. I'm not upset. I feel like that's the perfect place for him. It's time to learn. Let's lock in.
Can we talk about the Commanders though? I wasn't a fan of how they approached it at all, bro. They went into the draft, they had a bunch of picks, and I feel like, other than quarterback for sure, I feel like they didn't really address any of the positions they needed.
Was I the only one that seen that? Okay,
they needed offensive linemen, like terribly needed offensive linemen.
They turned the way they hold like most of their defense, most of their star players. So
they drafted one D lineman. They drafted Jazane Newton out of I know I probably butchered that name. Out of Illinois.
Yeah. But I just didn't feel like that was a position of need for them. And if I'm not wrong, they traded up to get him too. Another thing is they get Luke McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey's brother. That's fine, but I feel like there's other better wide receivers on the board available for them. So, I mean, and I wasn't the biggest Jaden Daniels guy either to begin with. So they get him at 2. That's fine. I would have rather have taken Drake May personally. But
I think since they know that, I think they just want a dynamic playmaker. And there's nothing wrong with Drake May. But I could see why Jaden Daniels was number 2. Dynamic playmaker. Yes, he has some stuff to work on, but that's every rookie quarterback, not named freaking Andrew Luck had crazy stuff to work on. So, it's I'm not opposed to the pick.
Halfway can.
I mean, let's be honest. Jaden Daniels is a sexier player, right? But sexy doesn't win me games.
I mean,
look at Brock Purdy, right? Brock Purdy is not the sexiest quarterback out there, but he wins games. And I think that's part of the JJ McCarthy thing too. He wins games. Drake May, if New England figures stuff out with him, I think he'll win them games. Jaden Daniels, to me, he's a 50-50 guy right now.
But I mean, I feel like when it comes to Drake May, you still got to factor in a level of opponent too. And they weren't playing nobody for real, and they was never finishing. I mean, they played in the AC Championship, if I'm not mistaken, but they never make that shake really.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a big one on. I feel like SEC quarterbacks are some of the most battle tested quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Just personally, but I do understand. I can understand both sides of the coin. The more polished prospect probably ain't an SEC quarterback.
I just wouldn't be surprised if Jaden Daniels comes in and he has a rookie season similar to what Bryce Young just did in Carolina. Now, the difference with Jaden Daniels, he has a little bit of more mobility, right? We know what he is with his feet, right? When he gets outside the pocket, but I don't know. I would have rather him went to a situation where he could sit for a year and just watch and work on his body, develop his game, develop his mechanics, right? I think that's what we're going to see with Drake May. Maybe even with JJ McCarthy, I think we'll see that. He'll sit for a year or at least half a season. But Jaden Daniels, I think he's going to be a week 1 starter, and I'm not entirely sure he's ready for that. But listen, I could be eating crow here. He won the Heisman. He played SEC football. We know that's the toughest conference in college, right?
Oh yeah.
And he was out there putting up stats, dominating those defenses. So we'll see what happens when he comes into the league. But I just think there's a lot of question marks I have with this game right now. And I don't know if Washington necessarily is going to have the right infrastructure around him to help him work on his flaws.
I mean, I can tell you one difference, the main difference between him and Bryce Young starting off. Their team, by far, not even close, because Carolina don't have nothing right now. They didn't have, well, at least last year, they didn't have anything. Mm-hmm. And Washington went and made some major pickups, decent pickups. I ain't going to say major, decent pickups throughout the offseason. So they move. I feel like they're trending in the right direction, but it's still Washington. So we know how they do all the time.
For
when it comes to talent, So I just have to wait and see.
Yeah. But Sherm, let's move it on. You said you had a few storylines and topics about this draft. Let's go ahead and hop right into them.
Well, man, like a bunch of things we already covered for sure, man. I mean, I had 8 topics, and I think we went through like 1 through 7, right? So I think we're good. I think the last question I had really, who do you guys think is going to win offensive and defensive rookies of the year? Right? Who are some picks for you guys? I think for sure I'm looking at obviously Caleb Williams, right? Maybe JJ McCarthy if he comes in, starts lining things up with Justin Jefferson there. I could for sure see him winning it. I think a sleeper pick is going to be Xavier Legette. You know, the Panthers drafted him number 32. I just look at him. He's a wide receiver. He's going to get a lot of volume in their passing offense. If Bryce Young takes that step and he's able to feed him, he's able to put up those stats, I think Xavier Legette might be a dark horse for that award for sure. What do you guys think got it?
Caleb Williams is the one that comes to my mind. But you know, it's crazy. I think that I'm going on another end of the spectrum. I think that Marvin Harrison has a huge chance of winning it, strictly because Kyler looked pretty solid those last few games. He did come back and play, giving him another big-time target. You know, Kyler might be tiny, but he got a cannon on him, and you know they're going to throw the ball.
And you can't catch him.
I definitely –
I said, and you can't catch him.
Exactly. So I could definitely see Marvin Harrison being one of the guys for me, as well as your boy, you know, we talk about Caleb Williams. I feel like he may get more attention, but is it just too crazy to think somebody like Rome Odunze could just have a crazy breakout season for him?
Well, no, not at all. But you know how they're going to do it, though. Since him being a QB, yeah, you know how they go.
Yeah, for one thing, I mean, Caleb's the one going to be passing the ball, so they always love quarterbacks. But the other thing, too, you look at the Bears' offense, they have a lot of weapons right now. I think Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet even, I think they're going to be top billing on their offensive play calls. I think Rome Odunze in his rookie year, I think he's just going to be in there for like deep balls, big plays, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be too where they start incorporating.
That's why I felt like I'm like, could that be the chance for him to sneak in and get it? Because it's so many other guys that have attention going that way.
We'll see. We'll see. I feel like the point about Marvin Harrison, because I think I was kind of sleeping on him a little bit, but I do think he's one of the most pro-ready wide receivers.
Plug and play.
So I wouldn't be surprised, you know, right out the gate, his rookie season, he just dominates, right?
Mm-hmm. I got a dark horse, though. Malik Neighbors may be a dark horse for me.
That was mine.
He's the 5th pick. That ain't no dark horse.
I mean, I'm saying because you see everybody else we talking about. Only because I think he's gonna come into that same situation that with Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison. The only difference is Kyler's actually good and Daniel's kind of bad. So it's gonna look like, you remember the meme where Eli throwing the ball, Odell down there somewhere.
Yeah, he down there somewhere.
Neighbor down there somewhere, and I feel like it's gonna be some bad balls. Malik is gonna have the opportunity to make some crazy plays, and yeah.
I feel like go ahead.
I'm sorry. And I say this and I'll pass to you. I think hands down my pick for defensive rookie of the year, I think that Byron Murphy has a huge chance for me to be that defensive rookie of the year. He's in a division that doesn't have the strongest of offensive lines right now, outside of those boys out in San Francisco. So I feel like he can wreak havoc a few games. I think that he definitely has a chance to make something happen.
Oh, yeah, I ain't mad at that one. That was actually one of mine, but see, you just on the roll, ain't it?
Hey, man, I'm sorry.
But I feel like by default, when it comes to offensive rookie of the year, I feel like by default, Caleb Williams going to have most of the attention, regardless. Now, if you ask me, besides him, who do I think will end up winning it? As far as the QB, I ain't going to lie. I'm looking at possibly JJ McCarthy because he's in a great situation. I mean, phenomenal situation. Like, you can't get mad at the weapons he got around him. Like, that's crazy. Then, besides QB, you kind of took one, Malik Neighbors. Well, besides him, though, I'm not going to lie. It's a few receivers I'm looking at. It's a few receivers. And I feel like that's what's going to come down to. A lot of people going to realize during the year how deep the receiver class really was. And it's like y'all should have been listening. Like, people knew. Y'all just want to listen, you know? But defense, I ain't going to lie. Brian Murphy was definitely my number one. But I'm also looking at Jared Verse. I'm looking at him. I'm watching. And I for sure gonna keep an eye on Chop too. Gotta watch Chop. But yeah, they're my 3 right there on defense.
Yeah, shout out to the Rams, man. They took Jared Verse, FSU product, first round, 19th overall. Then they come back in the second round, double up on FSU boys, Braden Fisk. Man,
they know something we don't, then. They know
Jared Verse, that's a sleeper pick for sure for defense. I'm also thinking Dallas Turner, right? And also, he was a later round pick, but I'm looking at TJ Tampa, a cornerback. He went to the Ravens, right? Yeah. And the Ravens are all about defense. I think he could come in there. If he gets the opportunity to start, he could be a big difference maker for them. So that's kind of an under the radar pick. On offense, I'm also looking at Brock Bowers. But also you think about this year, right? Who were the contenders? Obviously, C.J. Stroud won it on offense side, right?
Yeah.
But you also had Jahmyr Gibbs, running back. Mm-hmm. Okay, we don't necessarily have a dynamic running back this class. But we also had third was Puka Nacua. Okay, Puka Nacua. And he was just a wide receiver who came in. He gobbled up those offensive snaps. He was just a multifaceted weapon for the Rams this year. Put up amazing stats. So I'm looking at a guy, and this is kind of a name that I'm going to throw out there. I don't know, but Ladd McConkey, who went to the Chargers.
I've been saying that all year when he played at Georgia. All the time he played at Georgia, I've been saying that.
I think he's cold, man. He's a cold wide receiver. I can see him for sure. Because who else the Chargers going to throw the ball to, man? So they got Ladd. I can see him for sure.
They losing there. It's over. I'm about to go ahead and look at next season. It's over.
You about to get a contract out there right now.
Hey, I wouldn't be opposed to that. You might be able to slide a contract. Y'all still losing though. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, also though, I think that if we were just talking about him, if he can be Tyreek Hill, I wouldn't be surprised to see Xavier Worthy have his name thrown. Strictly because the media loves.
That's a big X though.
The media loves the Chiefs though. Just being real. They love
we'll see.
It started with Patrick Mahomes, but they do love the Chiefs though. I will say.
We'll see. It's a lot similar to the Rome pick for me. There's so many options on the Chiefs offense, and their offense too is one that spreads the ball a lot, right? So I don't know if he'll necessarily have the volume. He might have the impact, but he might not have the volume. And when you look at this award, it's all about volume. I
couldn't say it better.
Next to Travis Kelce and them, I don't know if he's gonna have that volume. If he's gonna put
finally making some sense,
yards, touchdowns, something like that.
And he might not even be worried about that. They trying to make another ring chase, so he might not. He ain't worried about.
They said 3P, ain't it? They said 3P, ain't it?
But that type of stuff affect his next contract though. So whenever it's time for him to get paid, I mean, we're gonna see how it goes.
As good as Patrick Mahomes, I'm not even gonna say the Chiefs. As good as Patrick Mahomes plays, they're always gonna have a chance.
Absolutely. Not even a question. That last year just showed that.
I mean, we don't see about them Chargers now. Them Chargers in that division,
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We got to protect it for Justin Herbert. We
coming big though.
I'm gonna be honest.
I like that pick.
I love that y'all went and got Joe Alt.
I love that pick.
It was between Fashionable and Joe Alt for me. But looking at Joe Alt is the most oralist offensive lineman I've ever seen.
He just goes
real linemen are back. He ain't trying to look cute. That boy came in there some Nike runners, blue jeans, and a fleece. He finna get to work.
Yep. Listen, obviously the fantasy heads, right? We wanted Justin Herbert to get a number one receiver. But I think at the end of the day, Joe Alt was the right pick, right?
You
need to protect him. Now you got Joe Alt and you got Rashawn Slater protecting your quarterback, right? So we'll see.
You are in a division with some heavy hitters that's going to be rushing towards your quarterback. So it is very valuable that you were able to get someone to protect them.
My biggest issue with the Chargers, man, is that running back position. And Harbaugh, he's all about running the football, and I just don't know if they got those guys back there, right? I don't think Austin Eckler was the answer. They let him walk to Washington in free agency, but they bring in Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins.
I don't know how I feel about
J.K. Dobbins. He's always injured, right?
Yeah,
Gus Edwards is just
pretty good.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's kind of like
Draymond never healthy. Well, we'll see what happens. I definitely would have liked to have seen them draft a running back, but hey, we'll see. That's why I'm big on Ladd McConkey. I think he's going to eat up a lot of the receptions. Austin Eckler, what was he good for, right? Those short yardage reception, dump off passes from Justin Herbert.
Because he can't run.
So I think Ladd McConkey is going to take up that spot in the offensive scheme for them for sure.
That was actually. I'm glad y'all actually picked him up. That was a sneaky good pick, Lad McConkey though. I'm not gonna lie.
For sure.
And I'm glad y'all picked up O-lineman too, because y'all never really had like a great O-line, and that kind of helped y'all O-line a lot.
And they got Jerry Rice's son, out of USC.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He was a great weapon for Caleb Williams last year. He has a lot of things in his game that he probably needs to work and iron out for sure. That's why he fell so late in the draft. But I mean, if he's coming in, he's hungry. I could definitely see him being a difference maker for sure.
Yeah. All right, but before one last thing, let's go ahead and slide over to the playoffs, man. The draft just so happened to happen during one of our most fun and impactful times of the year for basketball. So, Sherm, you brought up the idea of our least valuable players for the playoffs. What you think?
Absolutely. Man? Let's open up a bottle of Haterade, man. I'm fueled by that Haterade, man. And I just got some players that have just disappointed me, put up stinkers. Now, let me start by saying this. I had Paul George on this list, but then he goes out there, he helps, lead the Clippers. He helped lead the Clippers to that win. They tied the series up. So, Paul George, you're going to get a pass for now. But I'm going to need you to keep showing up, Paul George. I'm going to need you to keep showing up.
They're going to need it. They for sure.
That's how I feel about Tyrese Halliburton. I had Halliburton on my list for stinkers until
he didn't show up today.
He hit the game winner, and he actually put up points today.
So, instead of Paul George, man, I got to shift over to his teammate now, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard, man. We all know what Kawhi Leonard is capable of when he's healthy, but he just has not been able to stay healthy, man. I think it was a big mistake for him, for the Clippers, to force him to come back.
Yeah, you could tell he wasn't ready.
You could tell he wasn't right, and he was mucking up their offense, bro. Like, you could tell, like, their offense is going to kill the Mavericks when they're able to be quick, make decisions, move the ball. And when Kawhi gets in there, he's just a ball stopper, man. He mucks up the offensive flow, the offensive rhythm. And that's fine when he's hitting shots. But with his injury, he was not hitting shots.
Not hitting no shots.
I think it knocked a lot of guys off rhythm. James Harden was off rhythm. Paul George is off rhythm. And I think that's why the 2 games they won in the series were the 2 games without Kawhi Leonard. So, listen, man, Kawhi, get healthy, bro. Because the Clippers are never going to win a championship like this. But we need him to get healthy. But in the meantime, James Harden, Paul George, if they keep balling out, they could definitely beat the Mavericks.
Fed, we got to talk, man.
Well, can I say something about the Clippers real quick first?
Go ahead, because me and you got to talk.
I just remember talking about the last part. I brought up James Harden. Hey, all I want to say is, when this 4 quarters last game, I'm telling you, he took over. It was his game. He took over. He hit about 8 floaters in a row. Same left hand.
MVP Harden, man.
The beard came out. They ain't James Harden. That's the beard, homie.
The beard. The beard.
He did his thing. I can't even. Go ahead.
And like, man, y'all talking about, and I'm so proud. I'm happy for James because even though no matter how much of a Luka and Kyrie fan I am, I'm going to always love seeing them guys we grew up with getting their chance to potentially get a ring or to, you know what I'm saying?
Like Russ.
And be able to put up numbers. Can I give my least valuable player to a coach?
Go ahead.
Darvin, hands in the pocket, ham. It's disappointing to me because I looked at a statistic. Do y'all know how many they brought it up during the game last night? How many minutes would you have guessed that the Lakers have led?
They led for what? 93 minutes.
I know it's been majority of each game. I know that
they've led for as of that. I don't know it by the end of the game since they won that game. But at whatever point they showed this statistic in the game, the Lakers had led for 129 minutes.
And they were tied for what? 15 minutes, wasn't it?
For 14 minutes, and Denver only led 41 minutes.
That's ridiculous.
And the thing about it is making it seem like these teams are very much more evenly matched than we think. But the problem is these coaching adjustments.
Well,
Darvin Ham is getting circles coached around him right now.
I know everybody loved to hate on Darvin Ham. I don't think he's been the greatest coach for sure, but I do think the Lakers roster construction, there's a lot of holes that are being exploited. And look, I've been as I watch these games, I'm watching Denver, and I'm like, they're not invincible at all. Like this is a beatable team, and I'm actually concerned right now if I'm a Nuggets fan.
Facts.
They've shown some weak spots for sure. Right, their bench is not entirely the best. They kind of lack shooting outside of Porter Jr. Outside their starters, really. There's no shooting on this team. And I think they have some flaws for sure, but the Lakers roster had just not been able to execute on them. I think Darvin Ham, I think he's gone after this year. I think the biggest issue right now is that he lost LeBron James. And when you're a coach, that's like the final
death. Yeah, you can't lose your star player. Or at least
But who do you pick up though? That's the problem. Who do you?
But you know, Darvin did say he did tell the media that ownership told him he's gonna be back next year. So we gonna see. We gonna see.
Hey man, he didn't get swept, so maybe that's his saving grace.
That ain't good enough. That's the Lakers we talk about. They ain't found.
Look now, Jamal Murray. He's questionable. He got a calf injury. Yeah. That's the issue you run into in the playoffs now when you don't take care of business like you're supposed to. Now all of a sudden Jamal Murray's injured. I don't see the Lakers coming back from down 0-3, even if Murray's not playing. But that's going to be a problem for the Nuggets for sure. We've seen those injuries pop up for these star players now: Jamal Murray, Giannis, all of them, right? So,
and we were talking about holes in the offense for Denver and everything. I think the reason that Denver is so good and that we're so high on them is because they do have holes, yes. But to me, they have some of the best pacing in basketball.
That's all Jokic, pacing. Man. That's all Jokic.
Cohesion, too. Can we talk about that? Their cohesion is amazing.
That's all Jokic, man. And that's why I think he is literally the best player in the game right now.
And I think the team bought in, though. That's huge.
I mean, Jokic is just he's a monster. He's putting up these monster stats. He shares the ball. He's fun to play with as well. But the whole team just kind of morphed into his identity, right? And we'll see. One of the things they got going for them definitely is their home court advantage. I think going on the road, playing those two in LA was tough for them, right? But that home court advantage in Denver, that's going to be a good advantage for them for sure.
Most definitely. Also, one last LVP for me. I'm just going to give it to the entire Phoenix Suns organization.
Yes, sir. Look, they playing right now. We'll see if they get swept.
But I do think Jaden McDaniels, everybody owes him an apology. He is Kevin Durant's kryptonite for right now.
Nah, hold on.
He ain't one player.
He ain't Kevin Durant's kryptonite. Let's not do that. Okay?
He ain't Tony Allen, but
let's just say, bro, everybody disrespecting Kevin Durant. The man 36, 37. I think he has some off the court issues going on. I give KD a pass, bro. You know why? Because I'm looking at Devin Booker. You're the young superstar on this team. You're the one who go out there, talks all that junk. You want to be held at this level. You want to be that star player, and you go out in the playoffs, and time again, you just get dominated and exposed. So I'm looking at Devin Booker.
You took the words out of my mouth.
He has not shown up at all in this playoffs, bro. At all.
You took the words in my mouth. And I feel like in that same conversation, I tried to give Bradley Beal as much viewer as I could, but I gotta throw him in there too.
But I'm still willing to give Bradley Beal a lot of leeway because he's trying. You could tell that he's legit still trying his butt off. It's looking like some of the days, bro, outside of the big three, that team gave up.
And the thing I don't like, bro, I really don't like when we cultivate these young stars too early. And I don't like when we start criticizing these young stars too early. And there's a reason why I mentioned this. Because a couple years ago, Devin Booker made the NBA Finals. Oh, he's better than Jason Tatum. Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, put in certain conversations.
Yeah, he was getting carried by Chris Paul. Let's be honest, bro. Now, we ain't going to take that away from Devin Booker.
I ain't going to lie. At least they had
nothing away from Devin Booker. He's a cold hooper, but he's not that guy. We've seen it time and time again. When they've given him the ball and said, hey, we need you to deliver. We need you to carry us in this game. He hasn't been able to do that. And that's the biggest issue I got with Devin Booker. Right now, he's a number 2 option, but the Suns need him to be a number 1 option.
Yeah.
KD, he's not that number 1 option that he used to be.
He's getting older.
I think that's the biggest issue with the Suns right now.
And the Suns run a lot of ISO ball. If I'm not mistaken, the percentage was like in the playoffs they run like over 90% or something like that ISO. That's ridiculous. Like that's and KD when he won them 2 championships, they weren't running the ISO. They was in there running schemes. They was running catch and shoot. They was doing all types of stuff.
Yeah, but that's also one of the best teams. That's also probably the best.
But they had a system though.
Of all time.
They had a legit system.
I think it's 2 things that's really hurting them. Number one, Minnesota is just a phenomenal defensive team. Yeah. Right? Let's give Minnesota credit. They're a great defensive team. But number 2, I see with the Suns, Grayson Allen got injured. I think it was game 2. He got injured. And Grayson Allen has been a big part of their offense, this entire season. His 3-point shooting has really opened up a lot for them. His movement off the ball has opened up a lot for them. And so I think when you take away that sharpshooter and you're bringing in guys like Josh Okogie, right, Eric Gordon, okay, like that, I think the Suns really miss a lot of what Grayson.
Well, Eric Gordon, he
ain't been hooping though.
Yeah, lately he ain't been hooping. The regular season
not bad, he ain't been hooping.
I don't think he ever should have signed with them, to be honest. But that's a different discussion.
Look, man, we won. Hey, bro, they might as well put Bowl in tonight.
They need to put Isaiah Thomas in the game.
Oh, they might whip it both of them.
I thought Bowl was your guy.
Not no more. He a sellout, bro. I don't trust Bowl.
Because he don't play with the Magic no more.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. Sherman's been pretty consistent on Team Bowl.
Yeah, I've been rocking with him since Oregon, bro. What you talking about?
Been Team Bowl for a good little minute.
He was on Oregon with Peyton Pritchard in them? Yes, sir. Dylan Brooks in them? Yes, sir.
Well, before we get out of here, man, anything y'all would like to add, man, because we will be back Tuesday with you all for sure. But anything y'all always want to add, man, before we get out of here?
Hey, man, the Pelicans. Charles Barkley said it best. Welcome to Galveston, bruh. Like, Pelicans.
They can go to Cancun. They made it out to play.
I don't know. I expected, shout out to OKC for sure, but I expected the Pelicans, even without Zion, I thought they'd put up a lot more of a fight than they did. I mean, this is just, they count out. They got blitzed after game 1. They've just been blitzed by OKC. So I'm kind of disappointed in them. I'm kind of disappointed in Brandon Ingram. Kind of like what we were saying with Devin Booker. I expected Brandon Ingram to take that next step. Obviously Booker's a way better player, but I expected both of them to kind of take that next step, especially with Zion out, and he just hasn't shown that for me.
I think B.I. is gone after this season.
Hey, welcome to the A. Come to Atlanta.
Hey, you playing. I brought up a trade y'all the other day. I'm not going to bring it up right now because I ain't got time to talk about it. But you playing. I think it's a possibility he end up in Atlanta for real.
I want Ingram and I want Julius Randle. Welcome to Atlanta.
I definitely think it's a chance that y'all end up with both of them guys, which is insane to me.
Walk with me.
I'm walking with you because I can see a big 3 of Trae Young, Brandon Ingram, and Julius Randle with a little bit of Clint Capella and a little bit of
Clint Capella gone, bro. Let's not do this. Clint Capella gone out the door, bro.
Clint not bad. He do his job, bro. He do what he's supposed to do.
He washed.
What's your young boy name? Johnson?
Who? Jalen Johnson. I forgot about him. Yeah, never mind. We don't need Randall. We got Jalen Johnson. He's the next LeBron James. Y'all watch.
Well, man, I'd like to thank everybody for showing up. Another episode of the Lounge in the books, man. If you all haven't, tonight is the last night for you to enter the playoff competition. Make sure you all lock them brackets in, lock them picks in, man. Hey, it's free money, baby. All you got to do is be subscribed to the YouTube and follow on the Twitter. And, man, that's all you got to do. You can walk with Sherm. He can help you out. He can show you the way. You know what I'm saying? My boy Fed could go ahead and show you a little something where he can tell you how to finesse. Come on. Talk to us, man. But any last words, my guys, man? Mr. Sherm.
I need an ISO before we get out of here, man.
Go ahead.
I need an ISO before we get out of here.
Go ahead.
Because there's a fraudulent young man who's been running his mouth down in South Beach, South Florida. A fraudulent young man named Playoff Jimmy Butler. And I just want to say, Jimmy Butler, we all see you, and we here to bring you the slander you deserve. Look, man, they interviewed that man. They interviewed that fraud on national television.
You need to slander your boys.
Hey, I call for ISO. They
interviewed no screen, bro.
On national television.
Weak side.
He said we going up 2-1. We going up 2-1, and then his team just gets dominated by 30. Jimmy Butler, we all see you, you fraudulent man. Have fun in Cancun, bro. We ain't even send you to Cancun, bro. We finna send you to Reno, Nevada, bro. Come on,
nah. We definitely we stole the game at home for y'all. We going.
I'm so tired of that boy running his mouth, bro. I'm glad he getting a number. We
sending him running his mouth, and yet you guys talk the most. You guys are the most hypocritical fan base I have ever seen.
Hey man, I don't do with them fake tough guys now. Tyler Hero, fake tough guy. Jimmy Butler, fake tough guy. They don't want the smoke.
We done did it. Y'all been holding on to that 2008 championship for a long time. Sure.
I'm so tired of hearing about that championship.
Last time y'all won a ring, I was in third grade. I'm married with a kid on the way. Y'all ain't won it that long. I don't want to hear it. Y'all went to the finals 2 years ago. Steph and Clay put belt to behind. Andrew Wiggins came through and body slammed your superstar and made y'all cry.
Stop all that. Stop all that. Because y'all made the finals twice. Y'all made the finals twice and went 0-2.
It doesn't matter. We made the finals Jimmy twice Butler recently. We don't want to show up since the last time y'all don't want one.
You need to stop that. Y'all had LeBron James. You need to stop that. Y'all had the second greatest player of all time.
So much. Hey, he hate LeBron.
You had the second greatest player of all time. You need to stop that. Listen, man. My ice cream for the melt. Let's end this episode once and for all. You know who
outside Jimmy of Butler 2013. Hey, the original big three was Bron, Bosh, Wade, Joel Anthony, and Mario Thomas. Started for so long. I don't want to hear it.
Hey, what Kendrick Lamar said. What Kendrick Lamar said. He said, bump the big three. It's just big me. And that's what Jason Tatum was saying. That's what Jason Tatum went in Miami. He looked Jimmy Butler in the face and he said, it's me. I'll run the league. So we can get the sweep. We can get the sweep. That's fine. But we finna end y'all on 5 games.
I'm not listening to him no more. Congratulations to Coach Dignault for winning Coach of the Year too. They announced that.
Yes, sir. Very much well deserved. I forgot. Yes, sir.
Very well deserved. But man, Sherm, like always, it's been enjoyable until you started acting crazy. Fed, you got any last words before we get out of here, man?
I ain't gonna lie. I didn't even say my biggest loser. That's kind of what I want to see. Y'all kind of said both of them, really. It was the Suns. It was the Suns, and it was BI. Because the Suns self-explanatory. We already, But BI, this supposed to be your moment. And this is not the first time he had a chance for that moment. You know, Zion been hurt. You feel me? Zion had time where he been out the whole season. So, like, BI, I feel like he's as good as going now. And I feel like he still has somewhat of value, but it's not what it used to be, in my opinion.
Yep. And I don't want Brandon that. If Brandon Ingram was my third option or second option, I'm feeling well. That's it.
Yeah, come on. You got BI as your third option. I don't think nobody mad. But number one?
Sir, hit us with one before we get out of here. I can't trust.
I just got one thing to show y'all. Can y'all see what that says right there? Y'all see what that says right there? I know you can
see. Speaking of the Celtics, though, I'm not gonna lie, they've been showing me that they still beatable. They showing me.
So absolutely. But
it's gonna be interesting.
The East is so weak, it's not gonna matter. I'm worried about the West, though. Let's be honest.
And that's
I think the Knicks might be able to get in trouble, though.
Nah, we beating up on the Knicks. Let's be honest.
Because y'all ain't gonna be battle tested by the time if y'all make it there. Y'all ain't gonna be battle tested, so that's what I need to worry about.
What you mean battle tested? First of all, we got an NBA champion on the roster, Drew Holiday. Second of all, this team made the finals.
Good night.
Come on,
now. Getting into Celtics talk. Good night. Love you all. Love, peace, a ball of hair grease. OJ, that's Sherm. That's my boy Fed in the cut. And there's been another episode of The Lounge, baby. Peace.
Celtics in 5.
No, sir.